The 92 policy also directly addresses education for rural development. So far, we've really seen urban development through education, and these policymakers realized that the rural areas, which were larger in numbers and more of our students were in rural areas, education needed to get to those rural areas. So this policy recommends that the backward and rural areas will be provided with the same facilities as that in big cities. A large target to meet, a heavy target to meet, but at least it comes on paper for the first time that rural education is an important area largely ignored in the past and needs to be addressed. In the rural colleges and in universities, a subject, education for rural uplift, be introduced. So, rural uplift means how do you bring about positive changes in the life of a rural student? That's rural uplift. And so this policy recommends that in colleges and universities, such a subject be taught to students in the big cities also, so that a realization can somehow come about that education is not only for the urbanites, but also for the rural population. National Testing Service. This is an answer to the malpractices in the boards. Is one step, how do you overcome that? So the National Testing Service was set up, and a test for admission into professional institutions will be held. And that comes right after higher secondary. So you've just finished your intermediate exams, you've got the results, you now have to sit for this entrance exam through the National Testing Service, and let's see. If you do well on the entrance exam and you've done well on your intermediate, good. If you've done well on the intermediate and not on the entrance, or the other way around, then there are questions that need to be answered. For this test, different trials will be prepared so that the malpractices of the intermediate boards can be checked. It was a direct address, but then you had to see who was involved in the National Testing Service, who was hired, how were the item banks being generated, how were the tests conducted, how were the students prepared, how were those papers checked, and so on. Because if the same conditions that existed in the BISEs existed in NTS, then setting up NTS would not have been a right thing to do. For the preparation of these tests, the National Testing Service will be set up and have the cooperation of local and foreign experts. So what this service was going to do was to look at local experts in the different subject areas and also look at foreign experts in different subject areas to develop the test items. Test item writing is a skill. It cannot be done by anyone, and it should not be done by everyone. If you want good quality testing to happen through good quality items where reliability and validity of test items can be measured and shown to the public. You know, it's not just giving test after test after test. You're giving a test. Are your items reliable? Are your items valid? Are they good items? How often do you repeat items? Do you repeat items at all? All those kinds of questions need to be answered. And so a pool of local and foreign experts would be a good team to come up with these items. The policy has been acted upon since 2003. So the policy of 92 recommended that NTS be set up. It actually gets set up in 2003 for admission to medical and engineering colleges and universities. So the focus is narrow. NTS only provides services for young people wanting to get into medical colleges or engineering colleges and universities. Does not focus on other areas like computer science or business or architects and stuff like that. So very narrow focus. It took nearly 9 years for it to get started, but it's on its way. And hopefully, it has made a difference in the lives of young people.